Hello you guys, it's Grace, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. This video will probably be pretty short because I only finished 3 books in May, which is kind of pathetic. I'm ashamed of myself. But May was a really crazy month. It was the end of my senior year of high school, so that was crazy. And it basically meant I had no time to read fun books. I was reading books for school, a lot of books for school. I only read 1 book for fun in the month of May, and I started it way back in the middle of April. So I really had to spread out my reading a lot in May, which was kind of a bummer. I wish I could have done more reading in May, but it just didn't happen. So, darn. The last few months of reading have been really good though, so I don't feel as bad about reading less in May. I'll just have to make up for it in June. I'm really excited for summer. It's happy. I'm very happy that summer is here. So anyway, we're just gonna get started before I ramble on for all of eternity. So the first book I read in May was The Fixer by Bernard Malamud, and I gave that a 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't really my favorite book in the whole world. I read it for my AP Lit class, and I mean, it wasn't a bad book, but it just wasn't something I looked forward to reading every day. We read pretty big chunks of it for my class because it was our last book of the year, so we kind of had to cram it into the little bit of time we had left. I enjoyed the ideas of it, and the plot was fairly good. I did enjoy it, but I just thought a lot of it was pretty much the same. It follows a Jew named Yaakov, and he lives in a district that is meant only for Russians, and he is living there pretending to be Russian, and it kind of goes badly for him because he ends up getting arrested because they think he murdered a young Russian boy. So the whole story follows him as he is trying to prove his innocence, and the government officials and the people at the prison aren't really giving him a chance to prove his innocence. They're just kind of believing what they want to believe. So the whole book kind of just follows his long time in prison with really nothing, no fair treatment happening for him. So he's waiting for his indictment, and it's just kind of a really crazy story that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was like, really? How can they treat him like this? This is unfair. But, you know, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It did win a couple awards and is owned by the school, so I don't have it with me, but I'm sure most of you have heard of it. It's a pretty widely renowned book, so yeah, there's that one. I did enjoy it, but I wish I would have enjoyed it more. The next book I finished is The Martian by Andy Weir. I've heard amazing things about this book, and it was amazing when I read it, so it definitely lived up to the expectations that had been placed on it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the humor of Mark Watney, the main character. He's stranded on Mars and he's all alone. There's a very big chance that he could die, and he still maintains that sense of humor and is just a really fun character to read from. I really enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed the science part of it, where it was explaining all of the things he was doing, and I don't know how accurate the science was, but it was really interesting to read about nonetheless. I read this for my botany class because he is a botanist and he has to figure out a way to grow food for him to eat, so I ended up writing an essay on the botany side of the book and also compared it to the movie. So it was really interesting and I really enjoyed it, and I was really happy he let me read a more fun book because all the other ones were nonfiction books about plants, and they sounded really boring. So I was like, hey, can I read this one? I've wanted to read it for a while, and it has to do with botany, so that sounds fun. And I really did enjoy it. Alright, and then the third and final book that I read in May is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I reread this book in May. I had been wanting to reread it since the second I finished it the first time last year, but I was kind of holding off until the third book was closer to coming out, so I reread the first and second books in the series so I would remember what was going on as I went into the third book, and I am currently reading the third book and loving it. So I obviously gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. Of course there are some flaws in the character relationships and whatnot, but I love them, okay? Wonderful. I loved it. Like, this was a perfect book to be reading as I was worrying about finals, because I could literally sink into this book and forget about everything else, which maybe wasn't a good thing because it means I wasn't studying as much. But by this point in the school year, I was like, I'm done. I am so done. So I was very happy I got to reread this book, and I'm really happy to be reading the third book now. Alright, that is my very small, pathetic wrap-up that I probably rambled more than I should have, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please like this video. Also, comment below if you've read any of these 3 books and what you thought of them, and subscribe to my channel so you never miss another video. I'll see you next time. Bye!